Hey there, it's Anonymous Tea, where we spill the tea anonymously. Hello, 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 everyone. Hello, YouTubers. Hope you guys are all having an amazing day today, sending good vibes, sending positivity, sending blessings, and good energy to each and every single one of you. Thank you so much for tuning in. So today we are talking the Ultimatum Season 2, and in this particular video, spoiler alert, I need to talk about what is happening with Lisa and Brian, you guys, because there is a lot that we need to get to. So spoiler alert, if you have not seen the season yet, or you have not seen anything past episode 3, nor do you know any of the updates that are taking place with Brian and Lisa, now is the time to stop the video, right? Because from here on out, it's going to be nothing but spoilers, right? So I specifically want to discuss in this video a few things. This season was very difficult to get through, and by difficult, I mean it is difficult to get past episode 3, because essentially what has happened is, Brian and Lisa's drama was the focal point. The first few episodes, there were potential for Brian and Raya to also get together, and basically Lisa lost her mind. Lisa lost her mind. You can allege maybe it was pregnancy hormones or whatever, but nonetheless, she could not handle a simple conversation between Brian and Raya, and was foaming at the mouth, was interrupting their conversation, even hit Brian in the face, and I was like, what are we doing on Netflix? This is not okay. I'm not sure if she was calling Brian or Raya a roach, but either way, it's unacceptable. It is out of bounds. It is out of order. And the overreaction was just completely insane over a conversation, you guys. There was nothing intimate that was taking place between Brian and Raya. They were just having a conversation, maybe a little bit of flirting if you want to consider that, but it really wasn't that deep to have the reaction that Lisa had to it. And ultimately what ended up happening was, and then the worst part was the slut shaming that took place after, where Lisa was accusing Raya of just being some quote-unquote Hooters girl who's gonna try to give it up and have sex with her man. And I was like, whoa. You took all of this from this tiny conversation that they had, right? Because pretty much it's like a wife swap type of show, but there's different parameters involved to kind of where you have like the trial marriage situation, kind of similar to Love is Blind and Married at First Sight, if you will, with the exception being that after the 3 weeks that you spend with the new couple, after you swapped people, not spouses, but basically that's what it is, before you're actually married, but then you leave with you live with your original person for the other 3 weeks to see what things you can work on, and then by the end of the show, there's supposed to be a proposal or a breakup, or if you want to continue getting to know the person that you were in the trial marriage with, right? So all of these things are taking place, and this is right before the swap decision is supposed to take place, right? Because pretty much all signs pointing to Brian and Raya selecting each other, right? Out of the 5 couples, right? And plus that was the only other black couple, right? And so nonetheless, we get to the decision, and Nick Lachey is like, so yeah, Brian and Lisa are no longer participating in their show. Lisa took a pregnancy test and it confirmed that she's in fact pregnant. So therefore they felt it was best to no longer continue on this journey. And then we have this on-camera scene where, Lisa appears to be afraid to tell Brian that she's pregnant. And Brian is looking like, are you sure you're pregnant? Like, what the heck is happening? So his reaction was a little like WTF when that happened, but there are so many issues, you guys. There are so many issues, and before I get to the update, let's iron all of this out. So in the opening episode where Brian and Lisa, they spend their last night together in the hotel as a couple, she's basically listing all of the reasons why Brian should have already committed to her, which is already a red flag in itself. She is talking about how she makes 6 figures, how she can take care of Brian and basically finance their lifestyles for them. She's up here saying how they should get a house because he's allegedly not wanting to get a house with her. He's using the excuse that it's because they're not not married yet, but ultimately, if a man wants to get a house with you, he's going to get a house with you, right? If you're already living together now in an apartment, yeah. Nonetheless, it sounded like he just didn't want his name and her name on the property, right? On that home is what it was giving to me. But basically what I'm trying to say is Lisa was basically trying to sell herself, trying to sell her list of qualifications as to why Brian should commit to her. And let me tell you guys a thing, right? Let me tell you guys something, right? For whatever reason, if nothing else, men do not care what type of career you have, you guys. You can work at Burger King, you can be a nurse, you can be a lawyer, you can be a doctor, you can be a celebrity, you can be whatever, you guys. Or you can be unemployed, right? Bottom line, it is going to be whether or not the man is interested in you for you, right? And nothing else matters after that, right? And I think the problem is some people think that, oh, because I did this right, I did that right, I went to school and did this, I have this particular career, I am entitled to, have this man, right? But what they fail to realize is if a man is stringing you along for several years, and there is no ring in sight, and there is no wedding in sight, you have your answer of what this is, right? You have your answer of what exactly this is. And the issue many people had when this pregnancy announcement happened was some people were skeptical. Some people were skeptical because even if obviously she likely gotten pregnant before filming of the show took place, you're still in a process when you're going to be on a reality show, right? It's not like you just apply and then the next day you start filming. No. There's several checks, there's several interviews, there's several questionnaires, there's interviews with psychologists and all kinds of things to make sure you're a right fit for the show. So you're talking at least a month or two or possibly more of them knowing before they started even filming that they were going to be on this show, right? So at some point during even that process, before Brian even met Raya, she was already feeling insecure. She was already feeling like she was losing Brian, and she just finally had a face to kind of associate it with, right? A few months down the line. But nonetheless, she got pregnant, right? And basically from this article, it sounds like basically the pregnancy was legit and they have a 4-month-old baby boy, right? But here's the next problem. The next problem is in 2023, and in any year really, a baby is not going to put a band-aid on a relationship or a marriage if it's not working, you guys. I don't know why people still think that you can have a baby, you can get pregnant and think, okay, this is going to keep me tied to him forever, so therefore he has to commit to me, he has to propose to me, he has to marry me. No. Men now they're not thinking like that, right? They'll have a kid with you, but they're not entitled to commit to you, right? That's the mentality some of these men have this day and age, right? And so what was disturbing about this update, right, because these shows tape in a year in advance, was the status of the relationship, right? And so the status of the relationship, Lisa says, quote, that it's been good, that they have a baby boy, that he's so cute, and then speaking on the actual romance itself, you guys. Speaking on the actual romance, on whether or not Lisa and Brian are in fact still together, whether or not they are in fact still a couple, you guys, right? And ultimately what has happened is he has said the following. Well, basically Lisa is speaking for them, right? But we already know what this is. It says, this journey as parents together has been a beautiful one. I know that not everyone gets that experience for many different reasons, but it's been a blessing. It's been a really nice, peaceful journey. And so then Brian, after the fact, says, how fatherhood has been amazing. And he says that him and Lisa, like every day wanting to be better people, and they're living every day to be better people for their child who is now 4 months old, and they're finally sleeping through the night, right? And so then, of course, Lisa's reflecting on her first couple of episodes, on her big debut on this show and how she behaved, and is saying that, to be honest, this was the hardest thing for her to watch. It was like, who is that? That is not me. I was horrified, and that she had her hand over her mouth the entire time, and then claims that it was easier watching it back because she felt that her and Brian had already talked about the situation for a while, and that she's grateful to be with the, kind of man that she has because he was so graceful. And so then, they were saying that they realized the show was real, that they had things in the relationship they needed to work on those things and continue to work on those things. And so you would think, okay, at this point, the show has taped a year in advance. The baby now is 4 months old. The whole point of the show, the ultimatum, you're supposed to get engaged at the end, right? You're supposed to go through a trial marriage with somebody else to see if somebody else is a better fit for you or not. And then if they're not a better fit than what you currently have, you're supposed to propose to the person that you're with, right? And guess what the update is, you guys? There is no ring in sight. There is no ring in sight. Lisa, in fact, confirms that in this article that was from 4 days ago that says there is no ring yet and that there is no immediate plans for an engagement, you guys. And that they are prioritizing co-parenting. And Brian says, quote, "We are forming a bond every day. When he sees us, he is smiling. It is beautiful." So here is the problem, right? I don't know about you, but I have never heard of co-parenting when it involves people who are actually together. Whether you are married to the person, whether you are in a committed relationship with the person, whether or not you are engaged to the person, I have never heard that when you have a child with somebody that you're supposedly in a relationship with, that you're quote-unquote co-parenting in any capacity. No. Co-parenting is what people say when you are separated, when you are divorced, when you were broken up, when a situationship didn't work out, but now there's a baby. Now you're trying to co-parent to get along for the child, but there is no romantic relationship that is associated with it. So my question is, what was the point of all of this? What was the point of all of this? Because it does not sound good to me. And rumor has it, Lisa also has another child from another previous relationship. Allegedly, the kid is 10. And now there is another child with another man who is basically saying, "I don't plan to marry you anytime soon," which is also what he said over a year ago when the show was filmed. And even having a baby doesn't matter, because now it's just about the quote-unquote co-parenting. But here's the thing. If he was going to propose, if he was going to marry you, he would have already done it. He would have already done it in low-key, real talk. If we want to keep it a buck, had Brian stayed on that show and pursued things with Raya, he would not be with Lisa right now. And I don't even know if they're really together, right? Because when I hear co-parenting, that tells me you're divorced, you're broken up, you are not together romantically, but you were trying to get along for the sake of the child, right? So this is a hot mess, and I just want people to do better. I just want people to do better and stop ignoring the signs of a man who is not willing to commit to you, of a man who is not wanting to marry you, but will enjoy the quote-unquote perks of being with you, such as Lisa's finances and presumably the sex that they're having, right? Because ultimately, there's not much on Brian's end, as long as he's getting taken care of, whatever, he'll stick around, right? Even though it's a very toxic situation. It is a very toxic and volatile situation, and that slap just really bothered me when I saw it, and yeah, it really made me uncomfortable. But yeah, that is where we are. But ladies, men show you exactly whether or not they're interested, right? It's just a matter of whether or not your ego and your self-esteem is going to accept it. And that is the issue. You think pulling different stunts and getting pregnant and trying to do different things to try to convince this man to commit to you and to wife you and everything else when it has been years. And none of that has happened. And even you go as far as to go on a reality show. And even you come up pregnant in the middle of filming the reality show. And we are a year later and nothing has changed other than you have a beautiful, healthy 4-month-old baby boy. But you're quote unquote co-parenting, which is not going to cut it as far as I'm concerned, right? So they're going to say whatever Wednesday at the reunion special. I'm not going to buy any of it, because unless there is any apology that is taking place to Brian and to Raya, I don't really care about anything else that's happening. But nonetheless, this relationship, situationship, whatever you want to call it, co-parenting ship, whatever, is on life support, you guys. It is on life support, and the plug is about to be pulled once all obligations and media commitments and everything else to their show are concluded with Netflix. Like, we we have to just call this for what this is, right? And potentially, Brian still may be after Raya when it's all said and done, right? Whenever this dust settles, right? Because I do not believe anything that is taking place with these two as far as them taking them seriously as a couple anymore, right? You can forgive somebody, but this is going to be on reality TV, on national television, on global television, around the world, where billions of people have seen the show. How you behave towards Brian, right? And there are going to be women flooding his DMs, telling him how they can treat him better than Lisa, and how they've got X, Y, and Z, and they're not going to, do him like Lisa did him, and all these things. So I'm just waiting for the other shoe to drop, and that other shoe to drop is not going to be, like I said, till the conclusion of the press of the show is over, right? So there is that. So let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments. Please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you're notified the moment I post new content on my channel. And with that being said, I'll talk to you guys again very soon.